That's your brother-in-law. I've been in that situation. I remember a time, now don't anyone be seated yet. We're going to pray and you can be seated. But I remember a time of witnessing to a young man. I'd gone into his camera shop and I would go in there maybe once a week and talk to him, but I was being real light about it, just didn't want to offend him. Have you ever been like that? You just don't want to offend anybody. But the devil comes in and just slaps them all around the place. He doesn't care. But you want to come in and you want to be kind and nice. You don't want to offend them. So I didn't want to offend this man. And I shared the gospel with him and loved on him. But I never really nailed it. Never really nailed it down and talked to him straight one-on-one. You must be saved. You must receive Jesus Christ as your Savior. And I drove by the business one day and I looked up and there was a wreath hanging on the door. And my heart just sunk. And the thing that I feared the most was that he had died. And I went up and I banged on the door of the business. It was dark inside. I went to the business next door and I asked them what happened. And they said, sure enough, that he had died. And they said, didn't you know that he had terminal cancer? I went, no. And I left out of that place and cried and cried and cried and cried. And the Lord did not relieve me of that burden for months. I don't know if you felt that, Bruce, or you probably felt it when you wrote the song. And I prayed, I said, God, lift this from me. And he spoke to me. He said, Steve, I am going to make you feel horrible for a long, long time. And you may not understand this, friend, but I understood it. I had disobeyed the Lord. I had not followed through. I had given in to pressure and had not nailed it down. And the Lord said, Steve, you're going to feel this. I love you, son, but you're going to learn obedience by the things that you suffer right now. And you are going to suffer the pain of that young man's death for a long time. And for months I saw his face when I went to sleep at night. I would wake up every time I passed a cemetery. I would see his face. And finally the Lord lifted it from me. But I want to tell you what it did for me. People ask us why night after night we go after folks. Why night after night we will preach the gospel in this place. And I'll plead for you, man. I'll do anything in this place to get you to come down to these altars. You want to know why? I'm never going to stand on Judgment Day again like that. I'm not going to stand with your blood on my hands. I'm going to give you the opportunity in just a few minutes to give your life to the Lord. I learned a lesson the hard way. Everyone pray with me tonight.